Laura is not her real name. We are not revealing her identity, and we are altering her voice for her own safety. She told us at 17 her boyfriend sold her into sexual slavery.
They took my, self-respect. I think, I thought that I'm nobody anymore. They beat me up, they raped me. And then these guys, the customers, they treat me like animal, I was just, a thing with what they can have fun with.
What makes her story more remarkable is that it's happening in Sweden, a country hailed for its tough anti-prostitution laws.
It's easier, actually, because
Jonas Trolle is the head of Stockholm's police investigations. He says on surveillance tapes, traffickers lament the lack of customers in Sweden, avoiding the country because it's simply not profitable enough.
if you take the street and you have the girls on the internet, you will find that it's maximum in this 2 million city, 2 million people that are living here. You can find maximum 130 prostitutes.
That's really incredibly low.
Yeah, it's very, very low.
Now, believe it or not, this is the equivalent of Stockholm's red light district. No neon signs, just a lonely stretch of road. And on a cold winter's night like this, only a handful of girls that might be working the street. Now, this, some say, is evidence that Sweden's laws against prostitution are working, a dramatic decline in street prostitution. And the focus of the law is not to punish the girls who are selling sex, but to the men who are coming to buy. Anyone caught buying sex faces a hefty fine and possible time in prison.
We have to remember that if you didn't have the demand, the sex buyers, we wouldn't have any of this trafficking because they're feeding organized crime. They're the last link of the human trafficking chain.
More than 70% of Swedes support the prostitution law, the Ministry of Justice says. Norway has adopted similar legislation, and others, like Denmark, are debating it. But it doesn't come cheap. In the last 2 years, according to the Swedish Justice Ministry, Sweden has spent $45 million fighting prostitution and trafficking. It wasn't always a popular idea.
We were so much laughed at in 1998 when we took this legislation regarding, prohibiting men from buying sexual services. I mean, I was told that you can't do that. It's impossible. And people could not even get into their minds that they could have any effect on trafficking. But now I get the impression that many people have stopped laughing.
Yet, as in this undercover video from Sweden's TV4, sex is still for sale here. What's different today is where the women or girls come from.
Not from Sweden. Where are you from?
From Russia.
Swedish authorities say most of these women are trafficking victims brought here against their will from poor countries and tricked or forced into selling their bodies, like Laura. She came from a Baltic state. The man she trusted as a boyfriend took her to Sweden, promising to get her a cleaning job. But when she got here, she and another girl were locked into an apartment with blacked-out windows, like this one uncovered in a police raid, supplied by their traffickers with food, alcohol, and drugs. Laura managed to escape, but with no money, she resorted to selling her body once again.
I started to drink. And I drink very, very much. I become alcoholic. And after that, I become homeless. Because I said to myself, it doesn't matter how you have to live, but you're never gonna sell yourself again. Because I hated myself for what I did. I was at the street. I was 6 months pregnant. I was at the street. I didn't know what to do, where to go.
It's a pattern of self-destruction that has been with them since they were sold the first time, maybe 13, 14 years old. Most of these women that we have, they were only 13, 14 years old first time they were trafficked. And so you're not mature, you're not adult, you don't know how is life, you don't know. Most of the stuff shall up in the other room.
Sweden pays in part for Laura's rehabilitation, placing her and her baby in this safe house for trafficked women. All the available spaces here are full. On the walls, the pictures of the children that live here, trafficked alongside their mothers or born here. like Laura's.
But I just want to say that I hope the girls don't be so stupid, don't believe anything what they tell you. You know, the guys they just want to use you, you know. I don't know how to explain that, I don't know.
Words of warning from the safety of Laura's new home in Sweden. Atika Schubert, CNN, Stockholm.